Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is moving up his plans to meet with President Trump in Washington. The change comes over concerns about the administration's negotiations with Iran.
The Prime Minister and the President are expected to talk this Wednesday, a full week earlier than planned. Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem.
Netanyahu moved up the meeting with Trump, which was scheduled for later this month. His office says any negotiations with Iran must include halting support of Tehran's proxies in the region and limitations on its ballistic missile program. Israel reportedly is ready to act unilaterally if necessary. Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar warned about Iran's ambitions.
The attempt by the most extreme regime in the world to obtain the most dangerous weapon in the world, a nuclear weapon, is a clear danger to peace in the region and in the world. The huge amounts of long-range ballistic missiles that the Iranian regime seeks to produce endangers Israel, but not just her.
Iran and U.S. negotiators ended their talks in Oman with no resolution. Iran's foreign minister says his government is not afraid of the U.S. military buildup in the region, insists on uranium enrichment, and won't budge on ballistic missile production. Araghchi blamed the protesters and their leaders for the regime's violent crackdown.
What we witnessed in Tehran and other Iranian cities over 10 days were demonstrations, and the protests themselves were fully accepted. The government was also engaged in talks with leaders of the demonstrators. But on the 8th, 9th, and 10th of January, we were faced with a terrorist action.
Iran puts the death toll at just over 3,000. But an Iranian church leader who just left the country tells CBN News
the number is much higher than that. The number is something more than 50,000 people has been killed by the regime.
He says the violence hasn't stopped.
The form has changed because we have so many people have been arrested and they are in the huge risk of execution and also torture inside of the jails. There have been some reports that some people have been executed. But of course, the government tried to keep it hidden, and they're doing it behind the closed doors.
Eyewitness accounts also reveal executions on the street, inside hospitals, and even the homes of unarmed protesters. CBN News received this audio from inside Iran that documents the horrific crimes committed by the regime.
غروبی از حیاط افتاده بیرون رفته توپشو بیاره به بچه ساچمه خورده بچه رو بردن بیمارستان اومدن بالا سر بچه به مغزش شلیک کردن داداشش بالا سرش بوده داداش 20-22 ساله داداششو کشتن باباش رفته جنازه‌شون رو تحویل بگیره باباشو کشتن من اینا رو میشناسم نمیتونم بیخیال باشم من میدونم اینجا چه خبره همه رو کشتن تو هری همه رو کشتن از یه خیابون شد نزدیک به 1000 نفر کشته دادیم فقط خیابون ما اون چیزی که شما میبینید با این واقعیتی که ما از نزدیک دیدیم خیلی فرق میکنه حتی تو جنگ 2 کشورم اینجوری نمیتونست باشه که اینجوری شد.
Given the scale and brutality of the killings, the regime's actions are being called crimes against humanity. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
That's a report you're likely not going to hear anywhere else, but that's the reality on the ground inside that country. There's a reason the government shut down the internet so these horrible stories wouldn't get out to the world and show the world exactly what's involved in this murderous death cult that is running that nation today. They will kill their own citizens. They have no mercy. And their ideology says that's okay, that if you interfere with a jihadist, that's a capital offense and you can be shot. But you see it and you hear it, and you know, where are the protests for this? Where is the world opinion? Where's the condemnation from the United Nations? All of these things are not happening. But we can make a difference. We can pray to an almighty God that would change that regime I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. They have lost the right to govern. They must be removed.